Our guest today is Hyperion, Eternal, Protector, Hero, depending on which version of him you've met. Some say he's a savior, others say he's a weapon. So let's start simple. When you look in the mirror, what do you see?
Depends on the day. I was built for good, but I've been pointed at problems like a bomb more times than I've been asked to save anyone. Most days, I just try to leave the room better than I found it.
You talk a lot about restraint. Was there a time when you weren't necessarily like this? Was there a time that you didn't hold back?
There was a mission. Government said the city was compromised, claimed there were metas inside a hospital bunker. I saw kids, nurses. I held the line. Didn't follow orders. They sent someone else to finish it. The building's not there anymore. Sometimes not acting is the loudest choice you can make. They said I hesitated. I call it mercy. They sent someone else to finish it. I've never stopped hearing it.
Your passive ability is called Eternal Radiance. It doesn't sound like something you switch on, sounds like something that you carry.
That's exactly what it is. People see the light and think I'm some celestial torch. What they don't realize is I don't get to put it down. I sleep with it. I burn in silence. I don't sleep much. Cities still dream. I just stand watch. They say it feels like standing next to a star. They're not wrong. I train not to grow stronger. I train not to crack the floor when I exhale. Even my silence leaves a mark.
His passive ability is called Eternal Radiance. On spawn, apply defense up for 2 turns to self and all allies. Apply safeguard for 2 turns to self and all Thunderbolt allies. So right away, right off the bat, just for showing up, you have defense up and safeguard. Not a bad combination at all. The first time this character drops below 50% health, you will clear all negative effects on self, heal self for 40% of this character's max health, reduce the duration of taunt on this character by 2. Any positive effect that has a duration of 2 expires instantly. And if this character has 4 or more Thunderbolt allies, enemies cannot gain counter. The first time this character gets attacked, fill speed bar for self and all Thunderbolt allies by 30%. Now, a couple points. Nothing that we talked about so far is locked to raids, right? So his passive works everywhere. The only time you're going to have problems is if you don't have other Thunderbolt allies. This first part there will give safeguard to Thunderbolt allies, but it just says defense up for 2 turns to self and all allies, so you could plug and play him, use him with anybody just for that defense up. If he gets injured as the tank, he's going to use that DK on himself and remove the duration of taunt by 2, meaning he's going to drop the taunt, right? He's going to drop the taunt so he doesn't get knocked out. He's going to clear negative effects and he's going to heal himself so he's able to fight, probably re-up the taunt the next time around. If he does have his whole Thunderbolt team, enemies cannot gain counter. In the first time they get attacked, right? This character gets attacked, fill speed bar for self and all Thunderbolt allies by 30%. So whether it's an area of effect attack or he's drawing the attack due to being a tank, the first time he gets a hit, he gives a team a speed boost. So as we watch the characters load in, we're going to see 2 separate portions of Eternal Radiance. So right here, we have Eternal Radiance, defense up, and we got our safeguard. Shadow King is going to go ahead and take his turn, and since he's going to hit Hyperion, the next proc right there of Eternal Radiance is going to put speed bar up on the entire Thunderbolt team. So now look at everybody's speed bar is full, they're ready to go. That's something that's going to keep them moving forward, especially in raids. You carry the name Eternal, but that's more than a stat boost or a team tag. What does it mean to you to be one of them?
They say I was made perfect, engineered to last, to radiate energy forever. But forever's a long time to wonder if you were built for truth or just utility. I'm not like the others. I don't remember Olympia. I don't hear the call. I just feel it. This hum deep inside, like something ancient and burning that won't go out.
Your ultimate move is called Solar Rush. The name sounds catastrophic. What kind of moment justifies unleashing something like that?
The kind where diplomacy's dead. Where someone's already made the call to let cities burn, you don't start with Solar Rush. You end with it, and when it lands, there's nothing left to argue about. They'd already fired. All that was left was choice. Solar Rush isn't flight. It's velocity, weaponized. No resistance, just consequence. For one moment, I wasn't holding back. For one moment, I just was.
His ultimate ability is called Solar Rush. Attack all enemies for damage, and you're going to apply defense down for 2 turns and bleed for 2 turns. Reduce the speed bar of primary target by 30%. Gain counter and safeguard for 2 turns. So once again, right off the bat, this is something that's going to apply everywhere. He's going to have this area of effect attack. He's going to be able to put defense down and bleed on the opponent, and he will reduce the speed bar of his primary target. At the same time, he will receive some counters and safeguard. Safeguard is always an excellent buff, something that can be very, very strong. In raids, if you have your whole Thunderbolt team, you're going to steal up to 3 ability energy from every enemy. You're going to gain immunity for 2 turns, apply counter to yourself and all Thunderbolt allies. The attack cannot miss, and in raids, the attack cannot be dodged. So if you are in raids, you're going to have immunity and safeguard. Then we think about Victoria Hand giving your team energy all the time, and then with this move, Hyperion will steal up to 3 energy. So you'll stop them from doing what they want to do. You'll have all your best moves available. You can see how this team can really get up and running and snowball when it comes to raids. So let's see how this is going to work. What we want to be mindful of is we're going to want that defense down for 2 turns, that bleed for 2 turns. It's an area of effect, and then the person that we target, and this is even outside of raids, loses 30% of their speed bar. We got to go after Sasquatch because he's a tank. Nothing we can do about that, but let's see what happens. So we got an area of effect. We got damage. Look at the energy pouring in. We got 1 bleed on Sasquatch, and his speed did go down, right? His speed bar did go down. Sorry, we're watching this back. His speed bar did go down. So again, in raids, it's because we're going against a tank, that's not really what we want. But outside of raids, that is an excellent point to keep in mind. Let's talk precision. You've got this move called Particle Accelerator. Sounds more like an experiment. How does it work?
That's because it is. My body doesn't just emit solar radiation, it regulates it. Particle Accelerator is focused release, targeted instability. If Solar Rush is the sun, this is the laser. I don't fire indiscriminately. I draw a line and dissolve it. Calibrated vision, 0 spread, 0 waste. The next step is yours. I didn't vaporize them. I reminded them I could.
The special is called Particle Accelerator. Attack primary and adjacent targets for damage and apply Disrupted for 2 turns. So right off the bat, you're able to disrupt other tanks for 2 turns. If this character has the Thunderbolt allies, you're going to reduce the duration of taunt on the primary and adjacent targets by 2. Any positive effect that has a duration of 0 expires instantly and you gain taunt. So this is your taunt move. You can remove taunt from opposing tanks. If you could preempt that, you can drop the disrupt on them before that taunt. Not bad. Not bad at all. And then you're going to put your taunt up, and as we said earlier, this is the first time you get hit. It increases the speed for the rest of your team. In raids, you're going to apply counter for 2 turns, offense up for 2 turns, 2 counter, offense up for 2 turns, and immunity for 2 turns to self and all Thunderbolt allies. You get a boost in focus, and it cannot be blocked or dodged. The thing to keep in mind about Particle Accelerator is it's going to hit your primary targets and anybody around them. Use that to your advantage. You're going to put that disrupt on anybody that it touches. You're going to you're going to expire the taunt on anybody that it touches. So hit the person you need to. Make sure the area of effect around you are individuals that you want to disrupt and remove the taunt. And you can do as much, right? You can really get some good bang for your buck with this move. Everybody takes that hit. Everybody there gets it disrupted, and you got people that got knocked out of the game. We've talked solar flares, orbital strikes, but what happens when you just need to punch something?
Then I stop thinking about control and start thinking about weight. You can break a mountain by screaming at it. Or you can walk up and hit it until it stops being a mountain. They built that thing to stop tanks. I don't stop. The trick isn't hitting hard. It's deciding what matters enough to hit. I don't swing wild. I swing final. Force doesn't make you dangerous. Knowing when to use it does.
The basic attack is called Atom Smasher. You're going to attack your primary target for damage and apply bleed, heal self for 5% of this character's max health, and bonus attack the most injured enemy for damage. Not a bad basic, right? Dropping a bleed on somebody, a little passive healing. We'll take that. And then in addition, he's going to do some out of turn damage and attack the most injured enemy for an additional 250% damage. So you could get the double whammy on that guy, right? You could use this basic to hit the person who's already close to being KO'd. And if you're worried that he might not make it, there'll be a follow-up attack for an extra 250% damage. Not bad at all. Okay, let's check this basic move out on Rogue here. We'll see if we can knock her out with Atom Smashers. We got damage, bleed, a heal, and then a follow-up attack. She has death proof, so it looks like we won't. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we can do. Hit number 1, hit number 2. She doesn't get the bleed because of the immunity. Follow-up attack. We would have did it. We would have did it. The death proof kicked in. We would have did it. You've been called unstoppable, eternal, the living atom. But underneath it all, do you ever just want to be human?
Sometimes I dream I can't fly, that the light's gone. I wake up sweating, relieved. Power isn't the part that scares me. It's the way people stop seeing anything else once you have it. But yeah, sometimes I want to be someone who gets tired, someone who can rest,